talking 80% of human population coming together against the Western hegemony. And the glue that will make it stick is the pledging of commodities to the system. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization has told the world that they want to have a settlement currency for the entire Eurasian landmass backed by gold. And the BRICS.
Some of what Andy is saying here. See, for years, we've been able to ship this toilet paper throughout the world.
That's right.
And that's Gresham's law. When bad money chases out good money. So what the U.S. has been doing for a long time, they've been shipping people toilet paper, and they've been shipping us commodities like wheat, grain, oil, food, gold, silver, finished goods, and things like this. So that's Gresham's law, and the world said, we've had enough of this. And so years ago, when I was in South Africa, I heard South Africa join. I said, what are these guys? And now it's coming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And what Andy is talking about, the Belt and Road, is not really a road trade route, just supply routes. They can be a water trade. It's called the sea routes also, because that's what I went to school to do, is drive ships for the supply chains throughout the world. So all the people that have been giving America cheap or wonderful goods for toilet paper, it's coming to an end. Is that what you're saying, Andy?
It is. And the Belt Road Initiative, those trade routes, the maritime channels, the bridges, the railways, the roads, will only be patrolled by military and by commerce. So this is the Panama Canal on steroids. And when you realize that there's 150 plus countries on the Belt Road, you're talking all of these entities together comprise well north of 80% of human population. Right. And, this is a big deal because these entities are not going green, and we are. And when you see Saudi Arabia join this union, not only the BRICS, but the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and with the rest of OPEC on the Belt Road, it starts to come together like, whoa, they're going to say to the world, hey, we're done with just taking dollars. And when that happens, it's a very big problem. And that's why you're seeing rumors of Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and now Mexico signing up for the BRICS nations, or for their economic union. This is a big deal. It's little by little by little by little, all of these pieces, which in and of themselves are not as relevant until you look at the big picture. And you're talking the majority of human population joining together in a drive for prosperity, and one that is based upon mutual benefit, rather than being under the thumb of the West and the Western influence. And this is their one shot.
May I ask you a couple of things? In Emergency Podcast number 1, I talked about DBC, deception, betrayal, collusion. And those days are coming to an end. We've betrayed the rest of the world. We've given them fake money. We screw them if they don't on the SWIFT system. We're a bully out there. But you said something else about green. How much do you think Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, the oil producing countries look at our greenies, our Green New Deal, saying they're trying to take away oil?
Yeah, I think it's a huge deal. I mean, Saudi Arabia is looking at it as we are trying to take away their way of life.
Yes.
And if you look at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in and of itself is nearly 60% of human population. It covers the majority, well over 50, 60% of the entire landmass of the Eurasian continent. They're not going green, nor are the BRICS nations, and nor are any of the countries on the Belt Road. And so why align yourself with the West, who is not only eviscerating the value of the dollar in the treasury market for which you exchange your oil for, but they are also attempting within the next decade to go green. And so why? They won't. And that's why they're joining with these countries that not only, if you look at what China is doing, they're coming in and building infrastructure, they're building refineries, they're building more oil rigs, they are cooperating to mutually benefit both sides of the table. And what that means is that that's also a military cooperation. Yes. And that's why when Russia signed that deal with Saudi Arabia, the day we left Afghanistan, it was a big deal. Little by little by little, the pieces are being put together.
Bring people up to speed. So when I first met Andy, it wasn't that long ago. I'm going, this guy is talking macro, macro, macro. But he's got his fingers on the pulse. When Biden pulled us out of Afghanistan, immediately Saudi Arabia says, oh, I got it. So what did Saudi Arabia do?
They not only did they sign a military agreement for protection with
Russia.
with Russia, so did Nigeria, another OPEC producing country. But they also applied to BRICS. And it was their way of saying, we see that, we may be an ally, but when the chips are down and, you may not have our back. And when you tell us you're going green, you don't have our back. This is not the entity that we want to continue being aligned with. It was great for 50 years, but now the rest of the world is moving this way. And as Zoltan Pozsar, the repo market guru from originally the New York Fed and now at UBS, says, this is a new system, a new era dominated by transparency and commodities. So this is why I believe they will use the rails of the Chinese digital yuan for all of these countries to pledge to a new currency that will be a digital currency, but showing the immutability and the veracity of what every country pledges to the new system on a distributed ledger. That is the glue